Good morning. This is Rachel with Infused Meadow, and we are going to make some pancake syrup. So we're going to start out with our heat on medium and a slightly big pot, about a medium-sized pot. And then we want to go in, and we're going to go in with a half a cup of unsalted butter. If I can get it out. There we go. And we need this butter to melt. I try my best not to waste anything, so you'll see me scraping things down as I go. Don't like waste of any type. I'm going to set this here with this on top. Alright, so as soon as our butter melts, we'll be right back with the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so my butter's melted. I'm going to briefly move this off the heat. And I'm going to go in with 1 cup or 8 ounces of buttermilk. Okay, I'm going to add a half a cup of white sugar, white granulated. And then 1 second, we're also going to add in a half a cup, I'm just getting this measured, a half a cup of brown sugar. Firmly packed. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And now what we want to do is we want to whisk this to combine. And we're going to put this back on our heat. And we want to bring this up to a boil. And then once it reaches a boil, we're going to turn this down to a simmer, and we want to simmer this for 2 minutes. Okay, so you're going to whisk constantly. You're not going to walk away from this. All right, so you see we're whisking. Like I said, I'm not going to stop. And then once this comes up to a boil, I'll turn this down. I'm on, let me turn this up a little, roughly a medium-low heat. Now this should be all right to bring, you know, now I'm going to go to a medium actually. So I've increased to a medium, and once I hit that boil, I'll go down to a medium-low, and then that way I can determine whether or not I need to drop that down a little bit lower or not. So we'll be back. Okay, so it's starting to boil. I'm turning my heat down to a medium-low, and then if need be, I will drop down to a low. And I'm setting my timer for 2 minutes. Okay, so I'll stop occasionally just to make sure that I have a simmer and not a boil. And so I've now dropped down to low. Now this is a flame, you know, I'm on gas instead of electric, so each stovetop will be different, so you just adjust accordingly. You don't want this to be at a rolling boil or anything for that long, because that's not good. Alright, so I am down on, I guess what you call a medium, no. You got low and then just a little lower. That's what I'm on now. And I'm happy with that right there. Okay, so I'm going to keep stirring this 1 minute 15 seconds, and we will be back. Okay, so my timer has just gone off, and what I'm doing now is I'm adding a half a teaspoon of baking soda. And then now you're going to see why I have such a big pot. We only want to cook this now for about 30 seconds. You want to whisk that. You do not have to add the baking soda. It just adds a little something to it. But feel free not to if you don't want to. I've turned my heat off. And I'm just going to keep whisking. This will come down. But you do not have to add the baking soda. It is a delicious pancake syrup without it. Okay? So, I'm making this because one day this weekend, I will post a video. I'll be making some pancakes. And so I will do the video for that. But I like to make this ahead of time. So what I will do is I'm going to continue stirring for just a little bit. And then once most of this foam is gone, I'll move this. Well, I'll leave it. I'll let this sit for at least 5, maybe 10 minutes. And then what I'll do is I'll pour this into a pint jar and put a coffee filter over the top, and once it's down to room temperature, which will take a couple of hours, at that point I will move this to the refrigerator, and this is good for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. Just keep an eye on it. Should be fine with all the sugars in there for, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks, if I'm honest with you. It normally only lasts, you know, depending on how much I make pancakes, it'll last, you know, if I make pancakes 2 or 3 times, it lasts that amount, because this is not a huge amount. This will give you a little shy of 2 cups total. So, alright, I'll pause this until the foam's down so you can see what we're left with, and we'll be back. Okay, so our foam is gone. It's only been a few minutes of stirring. I've switched back to my spatula so I can show you. You can see it's coating the spatula. It is a beautiful color. This tastes amazing. And you didn't have to buy it at the store, which to me is a win-win. Especially since, you know, there was a pancake syrup that I used to eat a long, long time ago that I would have on pancakes and waffles, which was a very buttery pancake syrup. And this is a lot like that, but better. The cinnamon absolutely adds the best flavor, and you didn't have to add any maple extract to it. So if you don't have maple extract, this is an excellent, excellent recipe. I found this years and years and years ago in an old cookbook, and if I could remember the cookbook, I don't have it anymore. It was something I read, like I said, years and years ago, but it was so interesting with the ingredients that I made it. And so I've just always remembered this pancake syrup because after I made it, it became my favorite. And if I could, you know, tell you which direction to go to, I would. But all I can tell you it was an old cookbook. And by old, we're talking, I want to say it was from, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody when I say this, if you're in that age range. I want to say that it was from like the late 1940s, early 1950s, because I do still have some cookbooks that are from, you know, 1947, and 1949. I have some canon books from 1949. Anyway, does not matter. That's neither here nor there. So, I hope that you make this. I hope that you love it. Honestly, I hope you love this. But if not, like it. And if you still don't, then hey, I hope you find that recipe that's out there for you. And as always, I hope you have yourself a wonderful day.